Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
It is cooking this Thursday, both outside and here in the Primetime Local News studio, and I'm joined by Josh Park, who is going to be filling in for Abby St. John this evening. We did have a little Josh and Josh earlier in the week. We had to have it one more time before I take off for vacation, and you obviously take off for bigger and better things after your practicum's done.
Yes, almost done here at Primetime Local News. Loved my time here during my practicum, and it's sad that we're coming down to the end here, but no better way to cap things off here, Josh, than tonight with you. So
absolutely, your tall, white, and skinny boys will get it done for you here. Also, tall, white, and skinny, Eric Bay. He was out on location earlier.
Thanks, guys. Well, today we are down here at the Lloyd X grounds, and we're talking about the CPCA Finals. Day 2 of the races kicks off here tonight, and we'll be talking a little bit with some of the drivers here. You know, there's Dale Mitsewing, who won here last year, was Rookie of the Year of the CPCA. We'll get his insights on his racing so far, and also talking about his dad, Ray, as it is his last races here because he has to retire at the end of the year. So we're going to have some more coming back from here on all the races that you need to know. But before that, we'll head back into the studio.
Thanks, Eric. Every sport can benefit from a little international exposure, and for the CPCA, this afternoon may provide a little luck of the Irish. Josh Ryan has more on a group that traveled for a wedding, but are also got an introduction to chuck wagon racing.
Lots of Guinness, and good Guinness. Yeah.
For these friends who traveled from Ireland, Alberta has been a breath of fresh air.
Many years for us to get here eventually with the warm welcome of our relations. We've come over for a nice vacation.
One of their adventures this week is experiencing the CPCA Finals.
Great to see nice people and, educate them a little bit on wagon racing, what it's all about, and they're sure intrigued.
Part of the intrigue was that Ireland doesn't have an equivalent to chuck wagon racing.
And I had the impression if it was like something you'd see out of Gladiators. When I heard 4 horses, I thought 4 horses were side by side. So then when they explained it was the old traditional, as I'd look at it, the cowboy racing, I thought I got to see this.
I just admire that. It's amazing.
They couldn't fathom how we put 4 horses on the wagon and go at that speed.
However, Donaghy and company came away most impressed with the day-to-day work.
You can see how professional it is. You can see how the love of the sport is here. So it was just the equipment and the horses and the pedigree looking of the horses, how they look so fit and ready to go.
And they look forward to their continued vacation.
Lovely to be here. Weather's fabulous. We've got good friends. We're going to drink plenty of beer and Guinness. What more do you want? Life is good.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local News.
Blankets can be one of the most comfiest items we use, and a local group of ladies are bringing warmth and comfort to ill and traumatized children by making beautiful blankets. Here's Tegan Gieselbrecht with that story.
It's nice to know that somebody else is thinking of them, somebody that's a total stranger, has a big enough heart to make them a blanket.
Arlene Lane has been involved with Project Linus for more than 20 years.
Karen Lukes Baker started it in the States, and she saw a little girl that had leukemia, and she was carrying her security blanket. And she thought, well, every child should have a security blanket when they get that sick. And then she immediately thought of Linus from the Peanuts character, and he drags his little blanket everywhere he goes. So hence started Project Linus.
Arlene understands that there's different types of trauma children go through.
There's all forms of trauma, and it can be anything as simple as a young child having their tonsils out. That could be a really traumatic experience for them, or right to being like terminally ill, having a form of, different cancers.
They make security blankets for children 18 years old and younger. Blankets that represent love and contentment.
I think every child likes that wrap around, give you the big hug kind of thing, and we do say that on our page and on our website, and that we're providing them through blankets, and there's nothing beats a big hug.
The blankets go to the Interval Home, local hospital, as well as individuals.
Sometimes you'll get a specific thank you to the blanketeer or to me. Sometimes you don't. The mothers are really, really glad to get them for their children. I mean, it makes a huge difference.
The knitting group can create an emotional connection for some.
One of my biggest blanketeers, her grandson was died. I'll put it that way. and she makes them in his memory. So everybody makes them for a different reason. And I mean, I knew the little guy, and it was a real tragedy.
Tegan Gieselbrecht, Primetime Local News.
Grahamtown provides people the opportunity to experience nature while interacting with other people, something that owner Colleen Graham says is even more important today. Eric Bay has more in this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Grahamtown allows people to take an inside look at life in days gone by while being able to work with horses, giving kids and adults the chance to unplug.
Grahamtown is more than just trail rides. It's an experience. Yesterday I had a family reunion, and it's really about just getting away from technology, coming out and enjoying what nature has to offer us and my loving horses. And we've tried to simulate a little town so that people can get a feel for what it was like in the old days and use their imagination.
Graham says that with all the distractions technology provides today, places like Grahamtown are more important than ever.
I had a couple of teachers that were here, and it was really interesting. They shared with me that, you know, they've been teaching 31, 25 years, and when recess used to go in the hallways, there'd be all this camaraderie and excitement and maybe a little bit of pushing and shoving, but just people interacting. Now there is silence, because everybody's on their iPhone.
The inspiration for Grahamtown came from when Graham would go on rides with her daughters, which continued to expand as people joined the rides.
I was reading my three girls, the Pony Pals, and I just thought, wouldn't that be fun to go and have, you know, picnics on our horses? And then the neighbors started joining in, and it got to be, hey, everybody wanted to do this, so I thought, let's do it. And it was, I started out with the picnic table, and every year for the last 22 years, I've just added on a building.
On top of trail rides and hosting events, Grahamtown will be holding a trick riding show on August 22nd. And that's this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Business Bio, brought to you by BioClean. Call the Bio Team, 1-833-246-8326. The Disaster Specialists.
Now let's go to Eric Bay, who was on location today.
Once again, we are back here at the Lloyd X grounds talking the CPCA finals, and Dale Mitzwing joins us now. And now, Dale, you did come off Rookie of the Year here last year, going to your second year, and did win here in Lloydminster last year. Can you talk about how you've been so good so soon here?
I had a good teacher. Back at home, he's always teaching me how to drive and stuff like that, so jumping in the wagon box wasn't very new to me.
And now you mentioned that teacher, Ray Mitzwing, your father. So can you talk what it's like to have been able to learn from him and now be able to race against him here as he does go into his final season?
It's been great. You know, couldn't have a better teacher than him. He has a 7-time Canadian champion, so for me to learn off him is great.
And now yesterday you did have a great race, finished in there in the top 5. So can you talk about, you know, you did mention off camera here, a couple of younger horses there. So you talk about the outfit you're running and the race you did run.
Oh, yesterday I was hooked with some tough guys that can barrel, so I knew if I barreled with them, I'd be hung out 4 wide. So if I hooked a little more run, I could catch them coming home. So I went with a couple new horses on the back end. Their second race for one and sixth race for the other one. So fairly new to the wagon and ton of runs. So if I sucked on the rail and come back home, catch them. So it kind of worked out in favor for me.
And now, once again, you are among one of the top drivers here this year. So what does it take to be so consistent, do so well here over the course of a season like this here?
Pretty much just barn maintenance, taking care of your horses because they're the real athletes out there. So making sure they're eating properly, making sure they're massaged, all the works to making sure the athletes are fine-tuned. So taking care of horses is probably the key part.
And now, is there any strategy you have going in here? I know you got a few more days left racing here in the finals to try and move up some slots here and take number 1 here at this race.
Just run clean, let the horses do their work, and just stay consistent. That's about it.
All right, thank you for taking the time with us, and enjoy it the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to have some more back from here at the Lloyd X, but before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Thanks very much, eBay. 23 degrees right now in the border city with a mix of sun and cloud. That's been the basic weather conditions throughout this afternoon. Some slightly cloudier periods, but largely sunny skies and certainly at least average temperatures for this time of the year. That won't continue, however, through most of the rest of the week. Quick look at your records: 31 in 2003 and 2 back in 2012. You might think that's a bizarre temperature. Not as bizarre as the movie that was released that day, which was The Odd Life of Timothy Green. Go look it up. It is quite bizarre. 18-kilometer winds coming out of the west. That will bring the temperature, the feel of the temperature down rather, by about 3 or 4 degrees, but still a warm summer evening for those looking to go out to the Lloyd X and enjoy day 2 of the CPCA finals. There is a rainfall warning north of the Lakeland region, but that should miss most of those communities. Maybe there's an outside chance of Lac La Biche and Cold Lake getting some of that precipitation, but at the moment they are in the clear, and certainly everyone in the Midwest is clear as well. Current temperatures throughout the rest of the region: 23 in Cold Lake, 24 in Meadow Lake. North Battleford actually experiencing a few drops of rain at the moment, and their current temperature is 23 degrees. Provost nice and warm at 25 despite heavy cloud cover. Edmonton also sitting at 25 degrees. Saskatoon a degree cooler at 24. And your 3-day forecast there, a drop right down to 15 degrees and a low of 13 on Friday. Strong winds as well out of the west-northwest, 30 kilometers, maybe some gusts into the 35-40 kilometer range. And as you see there, an outside chance of precipitation, over 50%, but still a fair amount of sunlight. Just keep your eyes glued to those alerts from Environment Canada over the next 24 hours. 15 and 4 are your highs and lows for Saturday, and then 14 and 6 on Sunday, where the cloud cover will start to pick up quite a bit. That's your 3-day forecast. We'll have your 7-day later on in the show.
Welcome back. Above average rainfall across Alberta has led to catastrophic crop yields for some areas while delaying production for others. Eric Bay has more on the impact felt in the Lloydminster area in this week's Ag Report.
Rain has wreaked havoc on farmers' fields across the province, even prompting a state of agriculture emergency in Lac St. Anne County. The effects haven't been as bad in the Lloydminster area, but it has left crops 2 weeks behind schedule.
We're concerned about the lateness of the crop. The crop is looking, 10 to 14 days behind, and we've had some 3 difficult falls already, and so I think that's probably the biggest concern right now is we've got some really good looking crops out there for the most part, and we're just eager to get at them, but that's not going to happen for a while.
For local farmer Danny Hozak, too much rain is better than too little.
You know what, the rain is good. I've spent most of my life praying for rain. I hate to complain when it rains, and so it's good. The rain always causes some problems, but not nearly as much problems as having no rain. So things look good out in the country, they really do.
While this part of the province is in relatively good shape, the government of Alberta is continuing to monitor the situation in all areas of the province.
A lot of drownouts, there's a lot of just delay in the crops, and it is something that we're monitoring very closely with, especially with AFSC, to make sure that if and when there is a crop failure or bad yields that ultimately come from the bad weather that we've been having this year, it is something that the government of Alberta is going to be there, whether it's crop insurance, to make sure that farmers are protected.
Now, the concern is how the delay will affect farmers' ability to get crops off the ground this fall before frost hits. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
This Ag Report is brought to you by the Lloydminster Co-op Agro Centre. Depend on them for product, tools, and expert advice. Shop at your local Lloyd Co-op Agro Centre with branch locations in Lashburn and Neilburg.
Sports is next, but first, let's take a look at your ag prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
The highly anticipated CPCA finals have officially kicked off. The crowd flooded with people eager to take in the opening ceremonies, filled with beer, bulls, and bison. After all the glamour was gone, the wheels started turning for one last weekend. Following last night, Todd Baptiste, Ray and Dale Mitswing and Chris Molly occupied the top 4 positions. But no spot is safe heading into the dash on Sunday, with the top 6 drivers having only a 100-point spread between them. Big performances from the night came from Ray Mitswing with the best time on the evening, and from Jamie Labikin, who had both his runs in the top 10 and climbed into 5th place in the standings. It's the week of the Mitswings. Heading into the CPCA Chuck Wagon Finals here in Lloydminster, arguably the 2 biggest stories of the event come from the tandem. For veteran Ray Mitswing, his final weekend of racing after a 30-plus year career, while for his son Dale Mitswing, an opportunity to go back-to-back after winning the Canadian Championship last season as a rookie. Our Evan Kenny reports.
Teacher and student, veteran and young gun, father and son. Ray and Dale Mitswing each come into the Canadian Championships with their own story to fulfill. For Ray, his final weekend of racing as he prepares to retire at the age of 65. And for Dale, hopes for back-to-back CPCA championships after becoming the first rookie to ever achieve this honor last season. Although it would be special, it's family over finish lines for Dale Mitswing.
Yeah, it definitely would be nice, but it's Dad's final year of all his career, so it'd be nice. I'd be more happy to see him win than actually me, because I still have another 30 years to go if I wanted.
With 7 Canadian championships to his credit, it's safe to say that Ray has been instrumental in teaching Dale the ropes of racing.
It's been awesome, he's been a good coach to me throughout the years, and without him being here, I wouldn't be a part of this Wagons. He showed me a lot and everything on and off the track, so he was a very good teacher to me throughout my life.
There goes the horn, heat number 9.
Pressure? Not so much for Dale Mitswing. Although he is reigning champion, he knows the nature of chuck wagon racing.
Oh, not really. You don't really let that get to your head kind of thing, it's because anything can happen on a racetrack day by day, so just focus on your horses, make sure they're healthy and feeling good.
It's safe to say that between Ray and Dale, all eyes will be on a Mitswing during the finals. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we go to our Eric Bay, who was on location earlier today.
Once again, we are back out here at the Lloyd X, and we are talking about the CPCA Finals. Night 2 does continue tonight, and Todd Baptiste joins you now, who is the current leader of the CPCA. So can you talk a little bit about how you've managed to stay so consistent, stay on top here throughout the season?
Yeah, it's been, it's always competitive, wagon racing. This year it's really been competitive with the CPCA. Every night, you got about 10 guys that are within a second every night. So for us, it's really been our horsepower this year, right from the get-go, showed a lot of promise and just kept on rolling every night. So, when you have that happening and the chemistry of everything, it seems to make it a really easy job for me.
And now we're going to take it back a little bit to the Calgary Stampede. You're the only CPCA driver to make it into the Dash for Cash. Does coming that close kind of give you a little bit of extra motivation here going into the finals?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Calgary's your highlight of anybody's career, especially if you can make it, to that to the stage and to be part of the Final Four. And it was a big confidence for us, confidence for me, my barn, my horses, everyone included, outriders. Everyone's just been doing a fabulous job keeping the horses in tune and that sort of stuff. So we just kept on feeding off of that, that good energy, and hopefully come Sunday, we can continue with that success.
And now speaking of going on into Sunday here, is there any sort of strategy as you go here over the next few days of racing in the finals?
Well, it's going to be tough. We have the likes of Ray Mitswing right now, which he's in second. He's a 7-time champion. So, it's going to be tough competing against anybody in that particular matter, whoever ends up being in that Final Four. The strategy to us, we just got to go out there just like any other day, run a good race, clean, and we'll see what happens at the finish line. But hopefully we have enough horsepower to be, on top.
All right, thank you so much for this, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We're going to have some more from back down here at the Lloyd X, but before that, we are going to head back into the studio.
Thanks again, Eric Bay. Your next 24 hours are going to see a precipitous drop in temperature, and it's not going to be a quick climb back up on Friday, unfortunately. Very below average for this time of the year. By 12 p.m., we will get back into the mid-teens, and that's the best you're going to see, as we're right back into the low teens by the time the chuck wagon racing gets underway once again. And the wind chill is not going to help either. 30+ kilometer gusts, as you can see here, will affect the feeling of the temperature. So the temperature, in terms of how it feels, will drop at least 7 or 8 degrees when the wind's at its peak through most of the afternoon. Hopefully, by the time they get to the evening in the 6 or 7 slot, it will cool down a little bit, or calm down a little bit in terms of the wind. At this point, we're still expecting around 30+ kilometers there. Current temperature is 25 in Edmonton and 24 out in Red Deer. A little bit cooler when you get out to the mountains where Jasper is at 22 degrees. Prince Albert and Melfort both at 24, as well as in Saskatoon. Meadow Lake, North Battleford holding out at 23 degrees. A few other local areas, 21 in Green Lake, 23 up in Isle La Crosse, Lac La Biche at 20, Vegreville at 23, and on the south side, Provost and Macklin both holding strong at 24 degrees each. North Battleford still experiencing a little bit of precipitation. We fortunately managed to miss out on that action this afternoon. Wind coming out of the northwest will shift overnight, but end up coming from largely the northwest again tomorrow. A low of 13 expected. A little bit warmer, though, for the high than here in Lloydminster. 19 the expected high. Still some strong winds as well at an average of around 22 kilometers per hour. Cold Lake had some rain a little earlier. They're at 23 degrees now. 13 the overnight low, and a similarly cool high for tomorrow afternoon. 15 degrees, a strong chance of steady rain in the afternoon, and again some strong winds out of the west-northwest. Again in the border city, 23 degrees, a low of 13 expected overnight, and a high of 15 expected tomorrow, with an outside chance of rain amidst that mix of sun and cloud. And those strong winds will carry throughout the day, dying off a little bit on Saturday, where the average speed will be between around 17 to 20 kilometers. 15 and 4 the temperatures there, then a high of 14 on both Sunday and Monday. 19 on Tuesday for the jump, then 25 Wednesday, and then a quick drop back to 20 on Tuesday. That's been your 7-day forecast. We'll take a short break now, but be back on Primetime Local News.
Now we go to Eric Bay, who was on location earlier today.
Once again, we are back down here at the Lloyd X talking the CPCA finals, and Chance Bensmiller joins you now. And now, Chance, obviously big event here, the finals. So what's kind of your strategy or your outlook here going into these next few races?
Oh, I mean, consistency is key. You know, guy, you can't take any penalties. Your outrider's got to be on board, and your horses have to run. But I mean, even for myself, I've got a real long shot of making it in. But I mean, 20 points or 25 points, it's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. But when you can only gain 1 or 2 a night, it doesn't help.
And now we were talking a little bit off camera here. It's been an interesting season, what with the weather and all. So can you talk about maybe the effect that's had and kind of the interesting part about that here throughout the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we basically, since we went to Maskwacis, we've had rain every weekend, and the last couple of weekends it's kind of straightened out a little bit. But I mean, at the end of the day, these horses, no matter rain or shine, they love their job, and I mean, we got to clean up after them. So I mean, it's a little tougher on us, but other than that, it's pretty good.
And now you did mention that outside chance of winning here, but so what do you kind of do to drive so consistent, make sure that you still do have a chance there here at the end?
You know, the game plan can't really change. Like I said, with the consistency, you know, you kind of got a game plan in mind, and a guy just keeps rocking and rolling, and you hope that the horses, I mean, mine right now, they're really working and running. So last night I had a tough drive. I was strung out there 4 wide and then 3 wide, but tonight I come off the 1, so hopefully that rail helps me give a boost.
And now we've talked to one of the main storylines here is the fact that it's Ray Mid-Swing's last weekend here. So can you talk what it's been like to race against a guy like the Chief?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've known Ray's known me since I was a little kid, you know, still in diapers. So I've known Ray my whole life. I've got to race against him lots in the CPCA and in Calgary. So, you know, it's going to be sad to see another ambassador of the sport, you know, have to retire. But I mean, Ray's still going to be around, and no matter what, Dale's still driving, and it sounds like the other brother Devin might come back. So as long as he can stick around and still give a piece of advice, it's going to be good.
All right, thank you so much for doing this, and good luck here the rest of the way.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We're going to have some more back from here once again talking CPCA finals, but before that we are going to head back into the studio.
since it is Worldwide Relaxation Day, we might as well talk about what makes us relax, how we unwind. And that was, of course, the question of the day for you folks. Several great answers. The common one seems to be getting outside and spending your time on the porch while it's hot out.
That's a good one. That's a great answer. For me, I'm going to go more towards like nighttime. Nighttime driving in the summer, windows down, music going, maybe an iced coffee. That is my ideal relaxation. I don't know, there's something about driving at night, maybe when it's raining too. I love that.
What's the song that's playing while you're doing that?
It's got to be Frank Ocean. Anything by Frank Ocean, maybe Childish Gambino. Both of those, man, it's just, I don't know if it's the soothingness of their voice or what it is, but both of those at night driving is nothing better.
I guess it makes it weird then that Metallica is my choice of a band in that situation.
For relaxation at night, you're going to go to Metallica?
Who doesn't want to listen to Metallica when you want to relax?
Me.
Okay, I guess some weird folks. What's not weird is our transition to the next segment, which is Pet of the Day. And we'll start with Bruin, submitted by Heidi.
I love that. Look at the name too, Bruin, going with the hockey, I guess, Boston Bruins.
Possibly. Next up here, Lexi and Jersey.
Tanya. It's submitted by Tanya. Lexi and Jersey, cute combo there.
Excellent save there. Next up here, Oliver.
Oliver, he's got some cute hair. I like that. It looks like he's posing for the picture. Way to go, Oliver.
Solid work. Next up here, another Oliver.
All back-to-back Olivers. Did you put this together, John?
I most certainly did. And
right.
Finally here, we have Rick.
Rick. I love human names for animals. That's great. My dog's name is Larry, so way to go, Rick.
And you guys have all been educated. Make sure you send in those pics along with the name.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
I'm gonna fly.
Rufy is back joining us today, and Rufy, we have such exciting news.
Yeah.
Judging by the medals around your neck at the World Championship of Performing Arts, you did fantastic. Tell me about these medals.
I actually won bronze in my gospel category, competing with all of the countries that were there, and I got silver in the world category. So,
well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing, and great news for Lloydminster and everybody who supported you.
Yeah.
But this also means big things for you.
Yes.
You're going to be heading back to Los Angeles.
I will.
Oh my goodness, tell me about that.
Well, actually, after I competed, I went to the hot tub to go relax, and then not knowingly, my friends came to me and said that a bunch of producers would like to see me the next day, and I came the next day, and as soon as we arrived back here in Lloydminster, a producer contacted me from Hollywood, offering me a music deal, actually. So now I will be going back to Los Angeles to make my first ever major project and record an album.
That is so exciting. Are you writing the songs and the music and everything, or is there collaborations?
I'm co-writing with some producers that are already there.
Right.
Yeah.
And but you can't tell us.
I can't tell
who they are.
No.
So when can we expect that from you? When do you think all that will be released and all that will be happening?
Well, I'll be working on it through this year, so I'm hoping to release that album this year, yeah.
Okay. Now, another thing that happened when you were down there is that you are now a talent scout, is that correct?
Yes, I am. They recruited me as a talent scout.
Well, that's exciting too.
Yeah.
Tell me how that works.
So right now I'm actually recruiting people from all over Canada because the experience was just so amazing for me, so I would like to reach out a hand and help other people as well. So if anyone would like to contact me or know more info about the competition, they could just do that.
Okay, and what's the best way to reach you, Rufy?
Through Instagram or even email.
Okay, and can you give us your Instagram handle and your email address as well?
So my email address is Rufy, R-U-F-Y, Guron, G-U-R-O-N, @yahoo.ca, and my Instagram is at Jag, J-A-G, and then Guron, G-U-R-O-N.
Okay, so now you also have another event that's going to be coming up here where people can watch what you do. So tell me about that.
So initially it's a homecoming of champions, and it will be within 2 different cities, which is Toronto and Edmonton.
Okay.
And we will be live feeding with the people from Toronto to just share talent and celebrate our wins, and invite everyone who helped us. So if anyone would like to come, they could just, again, contact me, and I could send them invitations and get them into the event.
Okay, well that sounds great. And tell me, how you feel about all this. Like, you worked so hard for it,
Yeah.
and then you go down there and all this is happening. Does it seem like it's not quite real?
Everything's just, I can't even like imagine that everything's happening right now, and nothing's really sinking in yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you're going to be a busy guy, though, over the next
Yeah,
little while.
surreal, yeah. I'm going to be traveling a lot, so.
Well, you know, we're so happy for you, Rufy,
Thank you
and
so much.
you represented Lloydminster so well through
Thank
all
you.
of this.
Mhm.
So we thank you for joining us, and please, whenever you have some news,
course.
come back and speak with us.
Yeah.
And we want to also, you know, when you get your album out,
Yeah.
talk about that and the process along the way. And you're going to be working with some really big name
Yes,
people.
I
So
will be.
I just can't imagine that there's anything that's going to limit you from here on in. So good luck,
Thank
and
you so
please
much.
keep in touch. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Wagon Week is in full swing for the CPCA Chuck Wagon Finals, and the place to be to see all the action is right here at the Lloyd X. Tonight is family night. Tomorrow, if you're coming out to the races, make sure you wear pink in support of breast cancer awareness. Then Saturday, it's Wild West Saturday and the huge cabaret. For one night here in Lloydminster, you can see Aaron Tippin, Sammy Kershaw, and Colin Ray. Plus, the opening act is the Dirt Rich Band. There are still a few tickets available for Saturday night's cabaret, and you can get them in a couple different places, but the main place to get them is right here at the Lloyd X. So we hope to see you for the huge party coming up this Saturday night. You've got a great opportunity to see a lot of great live music this weekend at the 9th annual Come by the Hills Music Festival. Things get underway tomorrow night. You've got a chance to see 12 performances over 2 days, and tomorrow night you can see the Dirt Road Angels. And then on Saturday, they've got the Prairie States, they've got the Northern Pikes, they've got so much great live music, and this is a family-friendly event as well, plus you're invited to camp out there too. It's going to be another great weekend for the Come by the Hills Music Festival. And if you're in town for the Chuck Wagon races this weekend, make sure you swing by the Legion Ballpark, where a lot of folks are playing ball in the Laurie Craven Memorial Ball Tournament to help out families here in the area. You can stop by there and make a donation this weekend. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Klegus, and that's what's happening.
I'm pleased today to be joined by Sherry and Morley, and we're going to be talking today about the Flex Air Step and Stride Walk. So thank you guys for joining me today. First of all, Sherry, I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about the walk itself. Tell me exactly when it is, where it is, and what's planned.
Right, we're going to be doing it on September 7th out in Bud Miller Park. Registration starts at 9, and basically this is our biggest fundraising event that the Parkinson's Association of Alberta does. We have it going out in 9 locations across the province. We're an Alberta-based not-for-profit organization, so we're Albertans for Albertans, and the money that's raised stays here in Alberta primarily to provide supports and education and programs along with research for people living with Parkinson's disease.
And do you set a goal of any sort, or is it basically just as much as you can raise? The more the better, obviously.
Well, last year we raised close to 22,000.
Wow.
But boy, we'd really love to beat that goal this
Okay.
year. Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
How can people sign up, Sherry?
They can go on our website, parkinsonassociation.ca, and they'll see all the information on that. Look for Lloydminster for that connection, and then you can just link on to that and register your team or register with someone else or register as an individual. And if you have questions, you can also reach me at 780-808-5006.
Okay. Morley, I want to talk to you a little bit. Now, you are a client of the Parkinson's Society. Tell me a little bit about the services you use and how great it's been to have access to that.
We got monthly meetings. We meet last Tuesday of every month. We got to get together in friendship and swap stories and good things and bad things, little tricks of the trade and whatnot.
Right. Is it good to have that support too?
You bet.
So how many people would be involved and get involved in the meetings? Do you have an idea?
Oh, probably 12 to 25.
Oh, okay. And is it free of charge that people can
Yes,
go?
it
Or
is.
Okay, so that's good too then. People
Yep.
don't have to actually pay to sign up and be involved. What has been the best part for you?
Just knowing that you're not all by your lonesome out there.
Mm-hmm.
People have got common problems from.
And you're going to be in the walk as well?
You bet.
How do you enjoy taking part in that?
Actually, I enjoy walking. I do it every day.
Yeah, and I guess it helps benefit you, and even just getting out is always nice, just to not be, sitting somewhere and just not doing too much. You can get out, you can associate with people, and I assume maybe sometimes that run into friends that are also involved with the group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Okay.
sure.
Okay. And what would you tell people if they're thinking about taking part in the walk, and if they're not sure if it's something that they should support? What would your advice be to people who are maybe haven't experienced this walk before?
It's like any charity group. It benefits a lot more than just one person.
Right.
Like there's a lot of people that suffers from Parkinson's but are scared to come out and
Mm-hmm.
join groups. But if you get knowledge out there that there is something for them, maybe they'll sign up.
Okay, perfect. And Sherry, once again, just before we go here, the information on how people can get involved in this walk.
You go on our website, parkinsonassociation.ca, or give me a call at 780-808-5006.
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you, Morley, and thank you, Sharon, for joining me today. Or Sherry, I'm getting mixed up. And we hope you have a successful walk, and we look forward to being out there and helping you guys out as well.
You bet. We're looking forward to it too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Once again, we are back down here at the Lloyd X grounds talking CPCA finals, which the first night of races did go yesterday, with Todd Baptiste finishing third in overall time. And we spoke a little bit with him as he is leading the rankings so far, talking about how he manages to stay so consistent here throughout the season, and also talking about how his motivation has kicked in here to win it at the finals after his close call at the Calgary Stampede. We also spoke a little bit with Dale Mitsewing, who was last year's Rookie of the Year and won it all here in Lloydminster 1 year ago, talking about how his father, Ray, who is finishing up here his career, still keeps giving him advice and continues to do so, even now that Dale is doing his own thing as a chuck wagon driver and not as an outrider. So we're going to have some more coming back from down here at the Chucks in the next hour. But before that, we are going to head back into the studio where they'll wrap up the first hour of tonight's news.
Exciting stuff there out at the Lloyd X grounds. Getting underway in just a few minutes' time. 15 and 13, your highs and lows for Friday, where there is a chance of rainfall here in the border city. There definitely will be some strong gusts of wind coming into town. Then 15 degrees on Saturday, 14 both Sunday and Monday. Then 19 degrees Tuesday, 25 Wednesday, and another quick drop down to 20 on Thursday. So